some of those proposals last night from your friends at the Plastic Pipe Institute. So thank you for your time, and thank you for your attention, and thank you for allowing me to share the mission, information, and goals of the Mayor's Water Council with you. I wish you an enjoyable meeting, and look forward to again talking to you soon. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, or try to. I must have covered all. Yes, sir.
First off, in Canada, we have a similar organization. We have a Council of Mayors in Canada as well, and a subsidiary group called the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, which represents mayors and councillors. And I'd like to say thank you to your group, because back earlier on this year, the Buy America clause was causing some difficulties between trade between the two countries, between Canada and the U.S. And we recognize fully that that Buy America clause really wasn't intended to be a barrier to Canada, but to other countries who don't play by the same rules. And just recently, there has been an exemption issue for Canada on the Buy America clause. And that in part came because a number of mayors, a number of your colleagues, were very, very good at transmitting the message to people that needed to hear the message, which was there was a threat of retaliation. If the border closed down, small towns like Portland, New York, would go fire trucks for all of Canada, essentially, would have been subjected to the same reciprocity. And your small town mayors were extraordinary in getting that message across, which led to an exemption for Canada on the Buy America.
Well, the United States Conference of Mayors is extremely active as a lobby, and we are summoned to Washington and any number of given occasions throughout the year to lobby for our environmental conservation block grant funding, or the jobs bill that's going through the Senate. We're still lobbying for that. And certainly part of this Buy America was part of the stimulus program, which was aimed at putting Americans back to work. And certainly the intention was that that as you provided money to the cities, the states, and the local governments, that the money would be spent locally and it would hire local folks whose other jobs would be protected. But they recognized the integral and important relationship between Canada and the United States. And I'm sure Rich might want to comment more on that, but that's certainly a positive thing. We still are working very, very hard as the Senate continues its deliberation and voting on what is being called the next stimulus plan, to ensure that monies go directly to the cities, because we as mayors believe we can get those dollars out faster and put people back to work faster and rebuild the crumbling infrastructure in our cities. My city is more than 200 years old, and we still have wooden water pipes in some sections of the city, let alone iron PVC. So there's a tremendous need for the kind of investment in our infrastructure that the Works Progress Administration, or WPA, brought in the 1930s when the Mayor's Conference was first formed under President Roosevelt. And when I'm in Washington, I'm always hammering and said, what we need is another WPA, and then we can do things like buy more PVC pipe and do those other things. So,
Well, thank you.
Somebody in the back. Yes, sir.
Do I take it from your remarks that there's more enthusiasm for P3s in the water business going forward?
Well, I think it has to, no, and I'm not saying yes or no, but I'm thinking that, certainly we are open to look at what the most practical and cost-efficient solutions are. And I'm not, we examine many opportunities, and I'm not endorsing or discounting any one particular one. Somebody back there, their hand up? No? Yes, sir.
Mayor, we certainly appreciate what you're doing on such a massive scale here, and I appreciate the conversation last night. Also look forward to seeing you in New York. But you're talking about some mind-boggling numbers here, from $90 billion a year up to $280 billion a year from those cities. What I thought I heard a few weeks ago on Capitol Hill was the federal government is spending $3 or $4 billion a year. That's just a gigantic difference
in the bucket, yeah.
So is it likely that the cities will be able to achieve this $280 billion along with
Not without some of the things that I said at the end of my presentation, a huge financial commitment by the federal government, a change in the tax code, and the possibility of doing the things that we don't want to do as mayors, and that's raising our own local rates. But there has to be a tremendous change in the mindset coming out of Washington, that there needs to be a greater partnership with the local governments and the cities to make the investments that are necessary, and to provide opportunities, more creative opportunities, where there can be tax benefits that can offset those financial obligations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Stratton. That was an excellent presentation. Up next is Rich Anderson, who holds a PhD in City and Regional Planning. He's been Senior Advisor at the Mayor's Water Council for the past 12 years.